Welcome to the RSP Boiler Room. I'm Matt Waldman with the Rookie Scouting Portfolio. Let's take a look at Utah running back Zack Moss. This guy at about 215 pounds, and he runs with good burst, starter caliber footwork if you ask me, and he's a powerful guy. And this run shows you a little bit of that. So what makes this run interesting? Well, first of all is the press and cut. See him work towards the middle with smaller steps, a little slower approach towards this crease right here inside this double team, and inside this double team, kind of a duo look. See him work towards that middle linebacker, and then he plants and slides outside to the right side of the double team and then gets square quickly so that he can get into this crease and accelerate downhill because he knows he's going to meet either a defensive end or this middle linebacker in this crease. And when he can get small, like right here, see how he gets small? Drops those pads. He has the arms tight around the ball, at least the right arm, and the left arm is kind of around the front of that ball too. But that's kind of a way also we're going to see that he uses that arm to kind of expand through the contact so that he can shed the wrap that he gets from number 42. See how he kind of lowers his pads into that and kind of starts to drive upward. And he starts to kick those knees. And as he kicks those knees, see how he starts to use that left arm to disengage from his body and bring it down to his side. And when he does that, the defender wrapping his arm slides off because the defender never got a hold of Zack Moss's frame. He got a hold of the arm. He's wrapped around that left arm. And Moss, knowing that, and that's why he got it tight, he can then lower the arm and disengage it from the rest of the body. And now all the defender has is pretty much his arm and not the rest of his frame. And he slides down it basically like a fireman's pole, and he's on the ground. Now, part of that action, too, is when you have that low frame with the pads down and you make some contact there, see how he gets his shoulder, his tricep, and his elbow into the chest of number 42? And then you start to see the legs kind of drive, and he gets those feet, those knees up just enough so that he's still accelerating through the contact and driving through it, and at the same time extending that arm down so that the defender slides away. Those are nice little tricks of the trade when it comes to power running. And you can see he gets an extra 7 yards, I think about an extra maybe 7 or 8 yards after contact in the crease. Let's take a look at it from this point of view, and you'll see a little bit more. There's the cut and the second cut there. You can see that those are pretty nifty moves. And then he lowers those pads, and we saw the angle where he has that tricep and elbow into the defender's chest and starts to slide down. But look at the feet and how he gets them up pretty good. He starts to kick that foot higher. He starts to kick those knees up. That helps him be able to drive completely through. So he's kicking the knees up. He had the pads low, starting to bring them up as he accelerates through and get his hips through that contact as well. He's kind of rolling those hips upward through the contact to drive with the feet and the legs, the knees, and then bringing that inside arm down so that the defender slides off of it. And then the footwork just to set up this play. I mean, this is pretty nice footwork. You can see the pace is slow, cut, and then accelerate. And there's a suddenness to that acceleration. And that's the key. That's why we look at short-range acceleration as an important part of running the football. It's not just about getting through the crease, but it's also about getting into the crease fast enough so that when you have contact, your momentum is at its maximum capacity, so you're hard to wrap up or knock backwards with contact. And it gives you a little bit more control to be able to slide through or pull through contact. At the same time, too, if you can alternate your speed and pace, you can set up defenders. You can lull a defender towards that inside where you want them to be between these two double teams up the hash, and then bounce outside and then make a quick cut inside. So again, you've forced the defenders on the outside to at least account for that potential outside bounce, but do it just quick enough so that you can get downhill before they recover. See how he beats that defensive end up the middle before the defender can reach him? That has to do with that short area quickness. So when you're looking at a running back, it's the things you want to see are how good are his feet? Is he able to control his feet in a direction where he can point those toes and open the hips and vary the step stride as he's measuring the width and the timing of that crease being opened? Because that's different than a ladder drill or a cone drill. The cone drill just measures the speed in a certain type of footwork, but it doesn't exactly mimic the footwork that you're going to see on the field. So when you look at that 3-cone time or those 20 shuttle times, you're going to get some idea of what he can potentially do with his quickness and his change of direction speed. But what you want to see on the field is whether he already has control of his footwork pace and his footwork stride length within context of how he's reading an offensive line blocking scheme like these two double teams here, and how he sets that up with the linebacker, and how he's then setting up the outside with a quick jab and bounce inside. And then also with that pad level, can he do it with good balance and pad level so that he can run through contact like this? That's why when you look at a lot of these, separate indicators of athletic ability, it has to be set up in a way where you can also understand the context for how it's being used. And that's why film study and analytic looks at, athletic ability are important and can be helpful to one another. It's just a matter of trying to find where they pair out and match up. It's not just necessarily, running backs have to have great long speed. We've seen that proven false time and time again. There are different archetypes of running backs based on height, weight, body mass, speed, quickness, deep speed, short area stop-start skills, strength. And of course, then you have fundamental components like decision-making and vision and setting up creases and being able to, read blocking schemes and understand how to execute different blocking schemes because they're all different and they require a different conceptual mindset. So as we watch this one play, those are all the different types of factors that go into evaluating running back play. Because we're looking at the physical, the conceptual, the technical, the wisdom. All of that's involved as we go through play after play with running backs. And the same thing with quarterbacks and wide receivers or any other position. But this was a good example of that with Zack Moss, who is, a fun back to evaluate thus far this year. Thanks again for watching. For more RSP Boiler Room videos, you can check out my YouTube channel, Matt Waldman's RSP Film Room, and my site, Matt Waldman, www.mattwaldmanrsp.com. Sorry, I'm mesmerized by Zack Moss. Have a good one.